If you want to view paradise, simply look around, view it. I feel so small with my hands up to the sky. I am reaching out tonight.
About to do an entire Josh Groban career retrospective. The multi-platinum singer-songwriter now lending his voice to Audible's new scripted podcast series called The Miranda Obsession. Sounds really interesting. I don't know anybody in show business, but I know Josh Groban. And Josh, I don't know, we've talked about it once before, but my colleagues here are not aware that you and I are water volleyball pals, that we've actually played water volleyball extensively together.
Wow. That we have, yes. We played water volleyball extensively together. You do a good setup, Sam, not only at the desk, but also in a pool. You serve it up so I can knock it down.
In fact, true evidence, because I don't know anybody in show business. This is as close as I come to actually knowing somebody. Yeah. Show the picture. This is Josh and I believe.
Are we going to see you in a bathing suit?
I sure hope so.
Warning, warning.
Oh, they may not have loaded it. Come on. Hang on 1 second. They're finding it.
They're
Josh.
making a judgment.
There it is.
There we are.
There we are.
Above the
Look
waist.
at us. We're tan. We're healthy.
Yeah, it's all going very, very well.
Excellent.
All right, Josh, enough about you and I. More about you now. This is really interesting. Scripted podcast, amazing story, and you play Billy Joel in it?
Ooh.
Yeah, so Rachel Brosnahan reached out to me about this podcast. I love listening to fictional podcasts, by the way. This is something that is, I always just put in my headphones, and it's so fun to tune in. It's almost like the old time radio programs where you just close your eyes and just kind of immerse yourself in the story. This woman, Miranda, she was kind of one of the original catfishers, if you will. She kind of, before the internet, before social media, she was able to call a lot of very famous and powerful men and kind of make herself, loved by them. She was a great conversationalist, and they trusted her, and it rarely got romantic, but they all kind of fell in love with her. And so one of those men that got roped in was Billy Joel. And so Rachel said, hey, would you like to play Billy on this podcast? And so I was very honored to take on that role.
And then we understand Billy Joel reached out to you via email saying he was willing to tell you more about it. Did you ever have a conversation with him about Miranda?
We've been playing email tag about it and haven't been able to connect yet, but I would really love to. And I've read all the articles and the interviews he's done about it. And the interesting thing about it is that, for so many of them, charges were never pressed. It kind of ended in a bit of a sad fashion. She never stole any money. It wasn't like, any lives were ruined. Just a lot of hearts were broken because they really wanted her to be real. And she was doing this to a lot of people. So, it was one of those things where everybody just kind of said, all right, well, that's sad, but they moved on with their lives. And so, no, at some point, maybe he and I will, get on the phone or grab a meal and talk about it. I'd be fascinated to hear his take.
In the meantime, we're going to listen to a clip, and then we will ask you a pivotal Billy Joel discography question. Here is Josh as Billy Joel. Watch.
Do you ever get worried that people will look at you in the wrong way?
Somebody looks at me the wrong way, I deck him.
I mean, say you go to visit somebody. Let's say you haven't seen them in a long time. And when you show up, it's clear they remembered you entirely differently. And they look at you in a way that feels terrible. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I try to go back to Long Island and just talk to people, but now they talk to me like I'm superhuman. I'm like, hey, it's just me. But they act like I'm somebody else. Last time I was there, it kind of f***ed me up, to be honest. You mean like that?
Close enough.
That's really interesting, really interesting. Josh, what is the best Billy Joel song?
Oh, God. That's a really, really good one. I love She's Always a Woman. I've often played it in concert. I got to sing it for him to honor him at the Gershwin Award. I love Lullaby. We Didn't Start the Fire is one that being a child of the 80s, that one kind of was my jam. For anybody who hasn't seen him at the Garden do his kind of historic run at the Garden, it's just an endless, it's impossible to say because it's a hit parade. Every single song, you're like, oh wait, no, that's my favorite. Nope, that one's my favorite.
There we go. You're touring. We're going to see you in Southern California pretty soon, right? This summer.
That's right. August 2nd. Yeah, I'll be going back to the Greek Theater. We're finally getting out on the road and hitting a bunch of outdoor venues that we love very much. The Greek Theater is where it all started for me. We filmed a TV special from there earlier in my career. So to be back there, to be with Preservation Hall Jazz Band and Lucia and Ellery Ward, it's going to be amazing. We're just so grateful to be able to go out and just kind of sing our faces off again for a hometown crowd.
All right. Well, Josh, I'm putting up the net in the pool so we can resume our career there. Really good to check in with you. We'll tell folks the Miranda Project, available now on Audible. Tickets for Josh's show at The Greek can be purchased at his website. It's joshgroban.com.